Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about a different type of poem, and this type of poem is called a diamante. So try to say it. Diamante. A diamante poem. Maybe it makes you think of a diamond. Diamante kind of sounds like diamond, right? So we're actually going to notice that the template is going to be shaped like a diamond. And in a diamante poem, it's a 7-line poem, right? So counting down, you're going to have 7 lines. We're going to use nouns, verbs, and adjectives in certain places. And the whole point of this poem is that you're going to start with a topic. And throughout the poem, you're going to be contrasting that topic with an opposite topic. So we're going to use nouns, verbs, and adjective to contrast 2 topics. So you're going to, for your topics, you're thinking of things that are opposite. So remember, opposite means if 2 things are opposite, they're going to be completely different from each other. So we're going to read an example in a second. And that example has sad, and then think about the opposite of that. Whisper it, cover it up. Tell. Did you say happy? So sad and happy would be examples of 2 things that are opposites. And then in between, you're going to put words that describe the first topic. And then after you get through that, when you get about halfway, it's going to then shift to be describing the opposite topic. So we'll go through a few examples. I'll totally write one where you can just watch. For the second one, I want you to try to help me finish writing it. And then you're going to try to write one on your own, picking 2 new topics that are opposites of each other. So remember that your topic should be nouns, like sad and happy. Even those are feelings, you could say that they're things. They are abstract nouns. Remember, abstract nouns are things that you can't actually touch, right? Maybe you want to talk through or just take a couple minutes to think about some things that are opposite so you can come up with some good topic ideas, right? Maybe you do dog, cat, winter, summer, school, home. You could be creative and just come up with as many opposites as you can. Day, night, just to give you a few ideas, right? So now we'll move on and we'll read the first example. So this poem was written by a girl named Jessica Zanini. She's the author. The title of this poem is Feelings, right? So feelings are a noun. She picked the specific feelings of sad, and she's contrasting or showing what's different between being sad and happy. So you're first going to think of your 2 topics, and they must be opposites. They must be what? Everybody say it. Opposites. Good. So sad and happy are opposites. Good to go with the topics. Now, underneath each line, it's going to tell you a rule for what kind of word you have to have on the line. Notice that on each line, there's only one word. And there's going to be rules for what kind of word, and maybe even for some, what form of a word that you need. So we'll explain that more as we go along. Notice that the switch between describing the topics happens in the 1, 2, 3, in the middle of the 4th line. All of these blue words relate to sad. And then when you get halfway through the 4th line, that's where you switch to start talking about your second topic. So all the yellow words describe being happy. Okay, so we have our top and bottom are going to be your opposite topics. So the first topic is sad. And then in the second line, you have adjectives. Everybody say adjective. So remember, adjectives are words that describe. So in this case, you're trying to think of words that describe sad, and the author chose blue and ugly. Those are both 2 words that to her describe what it feels like to be sad. So those are both adjectives. There's 2 words, and that line is complete. So then coming down to the 3rd line. In the 3rd line, you need verbs. So remember, verbs are actions, and you're going to notice that they are ending typically in ing. This one has a couple that end in ed. So try to make your verbs, your actions, ending in ing. For this one, she's thinking 3 verbs that relate to being sad. You could say worried, or if you wanted to change to ing, worrying, crying, hiding. Those are all things you might do, actions or verbs, when you're sad. So going back to the top, right? 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, 4 words. And then it goes back down, 3, 2, 1. So notice that the number of words increases per line, then goes back down to make that diamond shape. We have the first line is a topic. The second line is 2 adjectives to describe the topic. The 3rd line is 3 verbs to describe the topic. And now we're going into the 4th line, and you're going to notice in the 4th line there are 4 nouns. Remember that nouns are people, places, or things. or ideas, right? Those abstract nouns. The first two of the 4 nouns should describe topic number 1. So topic number 1 in this poem is sad. So 2 things that this author picked were tears, right? Those are a thing, and a frown. So both of those things, tears and frown, describe sad, right? And now after you have those first 2 nouns, that's where we switch to start talking about happy. So 2 nouns right away to describe happy, smile and laugh. Both of those are things, so that works for nouns. We're not going to put words there like clearly this author thinks blue describes sad and yellow describes happy because she used those colors for the words, but we can't put yellow right here and use it as a describing word because here we need a noun. So we have smile and laugh, and then we'll move on to the 5th line, right? 7 lines total. So in the 5th line, we're back to the verbs. So thinking 3 actions, what are things you might be doing when you're happy, right? So this person put running, relaxing, sharing. I agree. I would be happy when I'm doing all those things too. And remember, you want all of your actions, all of your verbs to end in ing. Going on to the 6th line. Now we're back to adjectives. So again, words that describe. And in this case, to describe happy, they picked calm and yellow. And then the very last line, line number 7, is your opposite topic from your first topic. So the opposite of sad was happy. When I write these poems, I like to pick my topics, both of them at the same time, and write them on the top and the bottom, and then go back to the 2nd line and fill everything else in. So we'll talk more about that on the next page. But since I really broke it down for you, now let's go back and actually read it like a poem and see how it flows. So we'll start at the top. Go ahead and follow along with your eyes. Sad, blue, ugly, worrying, crying, hiding, tears, frown, smile, laugh, running, relaxing, sharing, calm, yellow, happy. So that is a Diamante poem. 7 lines, follows the rules for the types of words, which include verbs, adjectives, and nouns. And the really big main idea point here is that a Diamante poem contrasts, points out what's different about 2 things, right? So your topics, you have 2 topics and they are opposite, like sad and happy. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to write a Diamante poem from start to finish. So pay close attention so you'll be able to do this on your own. Also using this template so that you can see on each line, so you don't have to memorize what kind of word you actually need to write on each line. So for our topics, right, topic number 1 would go here, topic number 2 would go here. They're opposites of each other, remember? They need to be nouns. So we're thinking people, places, or things. And I'm thinking one of the opposites I mentioned in the beginning, I want to do season. So I'm going to do winter and summer. So topic number 1, doesn't matter what I put first. I'm going to put winter. And I want that on the first line. And so the opposite of winter is summer, and then I'll put that on the bottom line. Remember, the first step is to think of your topics. They should be nouns and they should be opposites. And then you put them on the lines, and then you can get right to describing the first topic, which will lead to describing the second topic, and overall will be contrasting or pointing out what's different about them. So now I'm going back up to the top and I'm thinking, I need 2 adjectives, so words that describe. 2 adjectives that describe winter. So go ahead and think with me. What are some things that describe winter? I'm picturing, we had a pretty mild winter, but I'm picturing like snow and all of those kinds of things, right? So I'm thinking, I might say that winter is frosty. That's a describing word. If it's a snowy winter, it could be frosty. And then sometimes I think that when it snows and everything's covered in snow and it's beautiful, I think that it looks bright. So I'm going to say everything is frosty and bright. Those are 2 adjectives. Those are both describing words. So that's going to follow the rules for line 2. And now I can move on to line 3. Remember that I told you in line 3, you need verbs, and verbs are actions. So it says participle underneath that. That just means a verb that ends in ing. So a verb that ends in ing is a participle. We talked about how verbs are actions. So now I need just thinking 3 things, so actions that I would do in winter that end in ing. So I'm thinking, maybe we could go to a really cool hill and I could go sledding if it was snowing. So that's an action, and I made it end in ing, right? We can change the form of words. So I'm going to say sledding. Maybe snowball fighting, ending in ing. Kind of got creative there. What else might be good in winter in action? Things that I could do. Could say hibernating, staying inside and staying warm, right? Hibernating. So that would be my third verb, my third participle, since it ends in ing. And now it's always good to check. So let's just pause here. I want to check what I have so far and see if it makes sense, right? So winter, frosty, bright, sledding, snowball fighting, hibernating. Good. Remember, if I wanted to put bright right here, that wouldn't work because here we need participles. I need a verb that ends in an ing. And bright is an adjective. So if I put an adjective here or even a noun or anything else besides a participle, I wouldn't be writing a good Diamante because it would not follow the rules, right? So make sure that you're really paying attention and following the rules. So now let's go on to the 4th line. Remember, this is where we split right here and we start talking about the next topic. So the first 2 nouns are just going to be about winter. So thinking noun, people, places, things, or ideas. What nouns remind me of winter? Since I've been talking about snow, I could say snowflakes. What else? Trying to picture a wintry scene in my head. Snowflakes, and let's say it's really cold, icicles. Snowflakes and icicles, those are both things, and they both relate to winter. So I'm good with the nouns there. Now I've fully described my first topic, and I'm ready to switch to my second topic. So now totally opposite. Now I'm thinking summer, summer, summer. And right away we start with the nouns. Okay, so now I have summer on the brain, and I'm trying to think of 2 things, or people, places, or things that remind me of the summer, right? So vacation reminds me of summer. Being students and teachers, we have time off in the summer. We call it summer vacation. So that's a thing. So that works for one of my words. Let me get smaller. All right, so I'm going to put vacation there, and the beach definitely reminds me of summer. That's a place, so that's a noun. So that works for that line as well, and that completes our line for our line of nouns. So now I'm starting to describe summer. Vacation, beach, and now I'm back to thinking of verbs, actions, words that show action that end in ing. So if I'm at the beach, I like to go swimming in the ocean. So I'm going to say swimming. Ooh, I might also be laying out in the sun and tanning. One thing I like to do a lot in the summer is also reading. So when I'm laying out in the sun and hanging out, I like to be reading. There's probably a lot of actions and things that you could think. Playing, barbecuing. I'm going to put reading. And now I have 3 verbs related to summer. Participles, verbs that actions that end in ing. And now we can move on to our last line that we have to complete, which is the adjectives. So 2 describing words for summer. Well, one right off the top of my head, I'm going to say hot, which again, if you notice, is like all of these things are opposites, right? So hot is the opposite of frosty that we picked out. And also, hopefully, usually a lot, it's sunny. Another word that describes. Okay, so now we're ready. We've completed our Diamante. We're ready to read the whole thing. Let's go back to the top and notice that I really paid attention to what kind of word it asked me to put on each line. So each of my words follows the rules. So you want to check that you've done the same thing before you submit your own work. So I contrasted winter and summer, and now let's read it. You can read it out loud with me. Winter, frosty, bright, sledding, snowball fighting, hibernating. Snowflakes, icicles, vacation, beach. Swimming, tanning, reading, hot, sunny, summer. Okay, now I've started a Diamante poem for you, and after we go through it together, I want you to pause the video and just talk through it out loud or with somebody at home and try to fill in the blanks. So you're trying it with me for this example. So the topics for this one are smile and frown. That's not my best frown, but that's the best I can do for now, right? So smile and frown. So those are two things. They're facial expressions, right? And they're opposite of each other. So now we're going to write this poem to contrast them and showing how they're different. So remember, we have to follow the rules on the lines, the adjectives, the participles, the nouns. And halfway through the fourth line, we're going to switch to start talking about frown. So I've started each line for you. And again, after I'm done reading this one, I want you to pause the video. So you're going to press the play button and stop it on YouTube. And you're going to try to just talk through it and fill in the blanks for yourself, practicing following those rules of the words that they're asking you for. Then when you're done this, then you'll try your whole complete own Diamante poem. So smile, happy, welcoming, lips. So noun, a thing, right? Lips are involved in a smile. So that's why I put that there. Depressing. So that's a verb. Now we've switched to start talking about the frown, right? Actually, I need to add in a noun over here. All right, so we can say that a frown is an expression. So that could be one of my nouns to describe a frown, and then you could fill in one more each for them here. And then, so depressing was my verb, my participle ends in ing. Adjective to describe frown is sad, and then frown. So now you're going to pause the video and you're helping me finish this poem. Okay, so if you're looking at this slide, you have now finished the second example. You practiced helping me finish the Diamante poem, and now you're ready to try it on your own. So you're going to go back to Seesaw. You're going to click the student template. I'm going to include a slide on there with some topics of opposites to help you if you're having a hard time coming up with your ideas for your two nouns, your topics. And then you're going to get started using this template. You're going to fill in the blanks and make your own Diamante poem. When you're finished, I would love if you could press the microphone, so this button over here, and record yourself reading your finished poem. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Hope you have fun.